All right, so can Tesla actually break through a sales barrier that no one will expect and drive the stock to an all-time high? Today, we're going to dive into that. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to Tech Path. Tesla, of course, is continuing to make a lot of moves here in the last 30 days. Lots of things are happening. We are seeing some issues, both with car sales in general, but also on just some of the strategic things that is happening with Tesla that I think a lot of people are missing. And it most likely will have a huge impact on where Tesla's stock is going to be going in the near future. I want to jump to this first story. TrueCar forecasts fourth consecutive month of slowing vehicle sales for August. Now, this, of course, is talking about August 2021, down 4% from a year ago and up 1% from July 2021. Here's the thought that I have on this, and that is that we may be seeing some slowing sales in ICE vehicles based on a lot of consumers understanding the barrage of electric vehicles that are hitting the market, including Ford. And we'll talk a little bit about where these numbers are going. But the point behind this is the slowing sales could be happening because of the fact that there's been so much news from all these manufacturers that are moving in the direction of being able to offer an EV. And if slowing sales are happening in the ICE side because of EVs entering the market, we could see some big breakouts here. But I want to continue on this. The chip shortage continues to be the driving force behind vehicle availability, creating lowest average incentive spending since 2013. This is a car analyst, TrueCar. Continued strong demand, creating environment. Good stuff. I like that. But look at these additional insights here. Total sales, August 21, that was the 4%. Right here, incentive spend is down 39% from last year. Used vehicle sales, August 21, are expected to reach 3.7 million, up 6% from last year. The reason new or used vehicles are doing so well is because people can't get to the new cars, and the new cars are slowing because maybe people are waiting for the EVs. So you've got a lot of factors coming into the space. Here's the sales numbers from August 2021 forecasted over the year, so it's a year-over-year change. BMW was actually up 16%, which is amazing to me when Mercedes is down 4%. You've got Ford down 33%, GM down 16%, and Honda down 1.7%. This is one of your leaders. 13% on Nissan, 16% on Stellantis, Subaru down 25%, and there's Tesla setting it up 39.1% with a chip shortage in play. This is where I think we are seeing a shifting of the tides around EV sales and ICE vehicle sales and the makers that are starting to move in this direction. And I think, Kathy Wood just recently talked about this with what Magna's recent quarterly earnings call, were talking about, and that was the whole idea of this movement and shift from the major ICE manufacturers so quickly over to what we're seeing now, moving quickly, what may be a little too late into the EV space. So I think that is going to be a factor that continues to lead the way. I want to jump to this Electrek story. Tesla leading EV sales more than double in the US, still account for only 2.5% of the auto market. That alone should tell you that the opportunity for Tesla to do some major moves here is unbelievable, considering their continued pace in which the cards are starting to align here, I think, for Tesla. You've got all of the gigafactories pretty much coming online in the next probably 30 to 90 days. Shanghai is expanding. You've got things happening in China that I thought China was going to be a trouble spot for Tesla. It may actually be another boom for Tesla in very near future. And then you've got the demand that is basically skyrocketing through the roof, while all of the rest of the ICE community is over here trying to basically adjust for what's happening in the space. So I want to kind of zoom in on right here. For the entire year of 2020, Tesla vehicles accounted for 79% of new electric vehicles registered in the United States. If this is not dominating, and I know people in the comments are going to probably say, well, listen, Paul, hey, Ford hasn't got their stuff together yet. GM hasn't really rolled out. There hasn't been the Rivian on the market. All these other companies have not been able to. Well, that's the point, is that Tesla has such a lead, and it's now starting to really show it in terms of performance. Because now we're halfway through the year. You would think that we'd see the ICE vehicles moving much faster. You would think we would continue to see automotive sales starting to continuously climb only in a handful of brands. And you would think that we would start to see the kind of adoption, which is what is happening now with Tesla controlling the EV space in terms of the US. Now, sure, that's not happening necessarily across the world, but it definitely is one of those that is happening in terms of Tesla. But before we get to that, just like this piece right here, recently reported EV sales reached 64% market share. This is in Norway. Norway, sure, one of the biggest, where the US is still at 2.5% of the US market. This is going to be what the opportunity is for Tesla. And I think that's why when you look at ARC and what Kathy Wood is talking about around where Tesla potentially is going to be going here, this is starting to get very interesting. And I think we're starting to see this depicted in the stock price as well. I want to continue to jump here, and that is on the issue of Tesla trying to speed up their deliveries. Because as we all know, the biggest issue right now is getting a Model 3 or a Model Y. It is now January, and we are in just now cracking into September. But by January, that's when, if you wanted to get to a Model Y, that's what you'd essentially have to wait for. So they are offering the new standard range in the LFP battery option, which is a quicker delivery. And let me kind of just zoom in on that. Tesla's introducing a new lithium ion phosphate battery option for the entry-level Tesla 3. And this is in the US with cells, basically they're using the CATL from China model. This is a new version not yet listed online in the design studio. And actually, I just saw a tweet coming over from Teslatino here in South Florida. And he and I have talked a couple of times because he is a beta driver of 9.2 on full self-driving. And we've kind of just talked. I think he's part of the Tesla owner community here. He actually has put a tweet out last night that there was one of these in Miami, a white on black, that was ready for delivery, like literally starting to show up these dealers, almost like stock products. So I'm wondering if Elon, this is a good move, I think, for Tesla, because I'm not sure that a traditional consumer, now for the Tesla lovers, sure, you're probably definitely going to want, the NCA battery, but for most consumers, the likelihood is they're just going to say, hey, listen, I just want a Tesla. And for this one, especially being the entry level, this could be a good play for Tesla in terms of the standard range. And I like this. I mean, in essence, it's using what is one of the stronger battery techs out there and has been around for some time. But if you look at, however, demand for Tesla Model 3 standard range, high and estimated delivery time, new orders extended to January. The company contacted some of the reservation holders and proposed the LFP option that might be ready as early as September. That's in 3 days here. So that, to me, is Tesla taking a hard look at the opportunity they have right now, which is to seize a lot of pent-up demand in what is slowing over here in ICE vehicle sales. And I think just the pent-up demand for electric vehicle sales, but more importantly, is the shift could be more prominent in where Tesla is moving. So this is a big thing when you start putting these elements together and the puzzle pieces start to play into place. This is definitely a big potential for where Tesla is going. And I want to kind of show also, this was a rumor that the Tesla Model Y was going to have a 400-mile range, and this was over by Electrek. And I saw a couple of vehicles on this. I know Ryan over at Ryan Tech, he talks a lot about his Model Y, and he did report on the 400-mile range. But the idea behind this, and let me kind of zoom in on what they're saying. The rumors of Tesla coming to 400 miles filed for a new version of the electric SUV to produce in the Gigafactory. We actually just reported on this a couple of weeks ago that there were going to be these new models of Model Ys in China. But the factory itself, it's a little misleading because the 640-kilometer figure is based on the NEDC driving cycle used in the Chinese market, which is considerably different from the traditional and most normal driving conditions. So the likelihood is this is going to be an on-paper scenario only. So that's not a bad thing. I think the fact that we are seeing advancements on the battery tech moving into the 400-mile range is going to be very significant for Tesla. And I think this market domination that they're seeing in sales right now is definitely starting to kind of pull out. And the cool thing is that, remember, Tesla is just now getting started. Austin is not open yet. Berlin is not really open yet, even though I know there's been a couple of deliveries in Europe. But you also have the expansion in Shanghai, trying to deal with the demand over there. And just to kind of add to the flavor here of what's happening with Tesla, is they were also vindicated over the fire that was on a salvaged car when the buyer revealed a video basically showing that the fire was caused by something else, and it did not occur. And of course, they got vindicated here. So smoke was from a downtown, and the media reported that it originated from a brand new Model Y. Was not the case. This is the Green the Only, a big Tesla researcher and Twitter analyst, I think, in terms of what he releases. But the drive was recovered from the car, showing the fire started in the house before jumping to the Tesla, which was most evident by the video outside. So this is pretty amazing to see how this actually, the vehicle itself is kind of giving you the protection. So the vehicle is of course filming all of this. So that's the kind of scenario that you've got with these kind of vehicles like a Tesla that are just being able to do things. And I think is now, from an owner's perspective, being an owner of a vehicle, a Tesla, I'm beginning to see more and more opportunities of where these vehicles can really be utilized for safety mechanisms. I'm just starting to see it around utilization myself, just around my own children, of just being in that Model Y, obviously one of the safest vehicles on the planet right now. But I just think all of this is moving in a direction in terms of sales, in terms of production capacity, the battery options that Tesla is starting to really kind of move to, kind of like what Elon mentioned to the other day, kind of the Baskin Robbins of batteries. And I think we're just going to see so much demand moving in this direction. And then you add FSD onto this, and a lot of what's happening this third and fourth quarter, very interesting for Tesla. And I think this is going to be one of the reasons you are going to see Tesla 3x by 2022, end of year. This is a major move, and no one is close enough in at least in any way to be able to affect the domino effect that Tesla is starting to put into play. I want to jump to the chart real quick, and we've shown this before, but I want to just show you on this video the FSD movement that has happened with Tesla over just the last 90 days. This is a 90-day sentiment range that we ran, a positive 18.7 points, which is the largest increase in 2 years. This is a quarter over quarter. Sentiment range was 59.88 back here in May. And this is amplification was pretty solid, and we saw a little bit of movement right here. And of course, Tesla launched their subscription model, which was in June right here, and that's the subscription, $199 a month for the full self-driving. Not city streets, not yet. We will see that, I think, coming by the end of the year, maybe in the next few weeks. The likelihood of that is coming strong. And then, of course, sentiment climbed a little bit to 61.42. Amplification softened a little bit, and we did see a little sideways chop right here. But right here, where we are right now, sentiment is holding at 63.19. Again, I think a lot of this is coming from all this sales news and also the success of AI Day and what's happening in the full self-driving product. I'd love to see the full self-driving subscription numbers and see what kind of numbers they were able to convert, because that is a big deal. But if you look at where the chart is going, just in a short period of time, we could see by out here around mid-September, somewhere in the 750 range. Right now we are hovering around the 708. But if you look at where sentiment is flowing, it is on an uptrend right now for Tesla. This is all good news unless something weird happens. They, bust something in Austin or Berlin. I think Tesla is set for some very interesting growth in Q3 and Q4, mainly because of this sales domination that they are seeing and really where this is going. Here's the hammer. If Elon drops city streets into the public and we start to see data collection on this, things are just going to get crazy with Tesla stock. I think we are going to see a lot of analysts really moving in this direction. And of course, Kathy Wood, I think she's going to continue to just bear down on investing in this company and where it's going. All right, so if you guys are listening in over on the podcast, the number one thing you can do is give us some ratings over there. But best of all, jump over here to the YouTube channel and like and subscribe right here, because it's the number one way we can get support from our audience here on TechPath and the Paul Barron Network. If you have an idea for a show and you want to hit us in the comments below, we love to get your questions. We do a lot of user Q&A and viewer Q&A. So drop your questions in the comments. You may show up on a show here one day on Tesla, on full self-driving, battery technology. We have CEOs and experts, pundits, analysts that are friends of our network that we constantly tap on to bring them in. We'll get them here on the show to answer your questions. So if you've got them, get them in the comments below. And if you want to reach me direct, you can do that on Twitter @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.